What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush, where we speak, talk, yell, debate, argue, punch each other, poison each other over the New York Giants. And we're here 52 weeks of the year to talk about it. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. I basically think I've already spoken to everyone I possibly know about what unfolded yesterday, and we're going to do it all again for you guys live here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Giants Rush every Monday. I will tell you that I love doing this podcast. I have a great time. I always call it the podcast you love to hate. nygiantsrush.com. Got all our interviews up there. I'm going to bring the guys in. Not going to waste a whole lot of time on hanging out with friendly talk because we're basically teetering off the edge here, right? So let's bring in this guy who's been completely just off the grid, and he's back. Alex, what's up, dude?
Hey, man.
I forgot what you look like. I haven't seen you in so long. I missed you.
Yeah, luckily we get to talk about Giants football today. It's great. Having a wonderful Monday. Did you do the same thing I did where you just didn't watch, I just didn't turn ESPN on today? I was like, I know what it's going to do. It's going to show the highlight, and I'm going to want to kill myself, so I'm not going to do this.
No, I have not. I have not looked, read, or anything beside the thousands of Twitter exchanges that we've had today. So it's been rough. We do have a guest with us. I know you guys are piling in the room. So what's up, Jay? What's up, Alex? What's up, Daniel? What's up, Jake? What's up, Jay? What's up, Bill? I see you guys piling in the room. Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of Giants Rush. It is the morning, night, day, whatever we want to call it, Alex, right? After. You know what it feels like? It feels like if wow, you're very close. If you've ever watched Game of Thrones, okay, if you're a Game of Thrones person, all right, if you've read the books, it's called The Red Wedding, okay? Comes in like book number 3, and they kill every main character there is at a wedding where you think it's all beautiful, everybody's together, and they just literally kill 20 main characters. That's what it feels like right now, because everything after the Red Wedding is like a completely different storyline, and that's what we have here. Yesterday it was like the Red Wedding because everything died right in front of me as I sat in my seats.
But they're still on the team, and that's the hard part about all of this is we've got 16 weeks of this, dude. How are we going to make it? What are we going to do?
Well, we're going to talk about it because we need solutions. We need solutions, right? We need solutions. All right, well, let's bring in Chris, who's not supposed to be here, but he's doing me a huge favor by stepping up. We've had a lot of stuff going on, with the team. So Chris, I love you, buddy.
Alex,
I love you, buddy, for bailing me out.
Of course, could jump in. Yeah,
Mrs.
Great night to jump in. Great night to jump in. What better night? 28 hours later.
Apologize to Mrs. Nails for me. I know she's probably not happy with me. Tell her I'm sorry.
She'll take over bedtime duty tonight. No worries.
Yeah. What's up, Cold? I see you in the room. What's up? And look, our guest, who I spent the afternoon with yesterday, is one and the only Brian Rascona from WFAN. Let's bring in B. B, what's up?
Hold on, guys.
Look, he's doing shots.
I'm still drinking from yesterday, all right? Hold on. What a disaster, guys. What a disaster. And Alex said it best when he came in. I couldn't watch anything today. I didn't want to listen to anything. I don't want to. It's just I'm so sick of going through the same crap year after year after year after year. I turned to the guy who was sitting next to me yesterday when I was at the game, and I said to him after the fumble, I go, the Giants go 3 and out. They kick a field goal. We're not winning this football game today. It's just not happening. It's back to the same old mindless minutia from an offensive standpoint that we've been watching for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's just it's painstaking. I went out there and I had a great day with my son until the game. Everybody was like, oh, how was it? I'm like, everything was great until the game actually happened. And I'm sick of saying the same thing. When is it going to end? And it's, Dayball, Shermer, Joe Judge. It doesn't matter who's coaching the team. It doesn't matter who the GM is. It's the same worthless product. year after year after year, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of it. Go apple picking on Sundays. Tell the wife whatever you want, because the Giants aren't giving you a product to stay in your seat every damn Sunday. It's just not happening.
No. And all that's true. And by the way, you didn't even give me a plug there. You should have said it was a great day with my son and hanging out with Santucci.
I'm still embarrassed about the Kettle One that I dropped. So
yeah, yeah. We had a little slippage. It was okay. It was a little rookie mistake, but it's fine.
I moved the bottle of Kettle One from the beer cooler. As I picked it up, I dropped it and it shattered.
You should have reached for the Nikoff instead.
It wasn't mine, and I felt so terrible about it. But
it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all amongst friends. They right away did a beeline. They're like, "Who's this guy with?" I'm like, "He's mine. He's mine." All right, well, guys, let me start off the show with some housekeeping. In case you guys are not watching ESPN, as Alex alluded to, and if you're not paying attention to what's going on in Giant World, I'm just looking at it. Carter Coughlin looks like he's out for the season with a torn pec. And what's interesting about him is they cut him, put him back on the practice squad, and elevated him to the active roster all within 4 days. So, like, there was always a plan for Carter Coughlin, to remain on the team, because he's a special teams ace. And, he's basically your actually, Chase Blackburn's probably more talented than he was, or more of a grinder. But, Carter Coughlin's a nice roster player. He's torn his pec. And Darius Slayton is in concussion protocol. So I haven't got any updates there. I don't even know when it happened, but it happened. So those are the two housekeeping scenarios I have right now.
Well, and also, Craig, they picked up a punt returner
from the Panthers.
Yeah, so Merced.
Get ready for that game in Germany, guys. Woo! Get your breakfast going.
They were pretty smart.
The Germans are going to be really into the NFL after seeing that one.
Yeah.
Have the worst two teams in the league play, boys. You're going to have that.
Oh. Yeah, they don't know any better. Let's not tell them. I hope they're not listening to the podcast. If you're from Germany and you're listening to the podcast, you're getting 2 Super Bowl teams.
Good luck.
Yeah. All right. We know we're going to talk about Jones, and we're going to just absolutely rip this up and get crazy. So let's start off with the low-hanging fruit and kind of get some of that out of the way, because everybody in the room. I see Jerry. What's up, Jerry?
Hey, Jerry.
Great to see you. Let's talk about the defense first, because I want to get that off my plate. Guys, again, I know this is basically a Jones and a more Jones show, but that defense didn't show up yesterday at all. It was a little bit scary. I thought it was going to be a defense that was going to impose its will with a pass rush. I thought it was going to give us something to cheer and be excited about. So let me read you a couple statistics for you guys. So hang with me. There were 22 pressures by the defense yesterday. One Dexter Lawrence was responsible for 8 of those 22 pressures. He had 1 sack and 1 quarterback hit. So he was basically almost 1/3 of the pressures by himself. 1 QB hit, 1 sack. Pretty good for the big guy when you think about he's your nose tackle, right? Now let's look at the rest of the defense. Well, our first round draft pick, Kayvon Thibodeau, had 1 pressure and no tackles. And when I say no, like N-O, I mean like 0. Kind of like bumpkus. I don't know.
N-E-A-U-X.
There you go. Thank you for the assist. Brian Burns, 1 pressure, no sacks, 4 tackles. And I will say, I thought Burns played hard. So he did have a couple really nice smacks, on his tackles. This one will shock you. Isaiah Simmons with, ready for it? 0 snaps. 0. Zip, zilch, zing. The guy didn't get in the game. The guy that you saw, what was the first thing you saw on Hard Knocks, Chris? Very first thing we saw, Bowen comes in the room and says, Isaiah Simmons playing the monster back, right?
Yeah, yep. And you thought he'd have a big role, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing. I mean, on 3rd down, they couldn't find a spot for him.
Nope. Now, Okereke,
were there.
Yeah.
What's that, Brian?
How many 3rd downs were there for the Vikings?
That I'll pull up for you in a second. But even so, he was still supposed to play the monster back, the rover back, the joker back, whatever you want to call on first and second down. He didn't get on the field, which is odd. Now, Okereke, I'm kind of giving a little bit of a pass to because this is exactly what happened last year. Okereke started off really slow. I was 1,000% wrong because I was like, I don't know if this guy fits. And then Alex, what did the guy have? Like 140 tackles?
Yeah, then he just went off.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, I mean, he had 3 tackles, right? Fumble recovery. I'm giving him a pass because I don't know, maybe he's a slow starter. I don't know, but this is exactly what he did last year.
Well, you're giving him a pass due to his track record. I mean, he's a veteran linebacker, captain of the defense, led the team in tackles. I mean, you're giving him a pass because of who he is and the resume he has. I mean, and I would do the same.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what Simmons' deal is. Like, I kind of like feel bad that he didn't play. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, Tuto's in the room and just dropped us a 5 spot. Thank you, Tuto. That was very kind of you.
And did anybody now? Again, I didn't listen to anything. Even on the ride home out of the stadium, I was listening to the other games. I did not listen to the post game. Did anybody interview Simmons and ask him as to why he thought he didn't get any snaps on the field? Because I didn't. If they did, I didn't see it. I didn't see any quotes.
Yeah, no, I listened to the post game, Brian, and I didn't hear Simmons being interviewed. But the
I would
thing
like
is,
to know how. I would like to know how he feels post game without setting foot on the field.
But see, the crazy part is you got 53 guys on a roster. You dress 48. Use the 48 that you're dressing. I mean, you have 48 on ready to go for that day dressed. Use him.
I agree.
And what was the deal with Muasa? I just call him Moose. I can't pronounce his name ever, but like he was getting snaps there and he wasn't good. It wasn't like there was like he had that interception. Wasn't that on a tipped ball? So like, I mean, that was cool, but the majority of it wasn't like he was great. So like, why not roll Simmons out there a little bit and see what he's got? I didn't understand any of that. And Micah was on the bench. I know he was dealing with the injury maybe, but like he was active.
That's the thing. They talked about activating him that he was going to play.
I didn't see him. Did he get any snaps yesterday, McFadden?
No snaps from McFadden.
Right. I remember seeing him out there.
So a lot of head scratchers on the defensive side. There's nothing coming out of Giants camp why McFadden didn't play. You're assuming he wasn't healthy.
I will say this, though. Sorry to cut you off, but as far as the defense, before you move on, I will say this. You noticed the Vikings yesterday when the Giants pulled Dexter Lawrence off the field, they ran a hurry up where the Giants couldn't bring him back in. And the Vikings were running the football down their throats. When that happened, when Giants pulled Dexter, brought in a new line defensively, the Vikings went into a quicker, faster pace offense where the Giants couldn't put Dexter back into the game. And that's going to be a recipe for next week, the week after. Every other team's going to watch that copycat league and try to do the same thing with the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's got film.
Take the best player off the field if you can.
Yeah, everyone's going to have that film and be like, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. Right. And so I'm looking in the comments. Jay says Simmons is a bust. I that might be a little bit of a stretch, Jay, as far as a bust. Like, he definitely hasn't settled in to be a first-round pick, but a bust is a little bit of a stretch. McFadden, Cole's asking about McFadden. McFadden was cleared. We have no idea why he didn't play. We have no idea why Simmons didn't play. No one's commented about it. No one's asking because Jones is so polarizing. They just want to talk about Jones.
I think McFadden was active, but during pregame, he couldn't go.
He couldn't go.
It seemed that way.
That makes sense. I mean, look, I do think McFadden would have as you know, the guy doubled his tackles last year and plays well next to Okereke. I think he would have made a little bit of a difference. But the big thing, and Alex, I'll throw this at you first, is what happened with the pass rush? Because we get nothing out of Tibbs and we get nothing out of Burns. And then when they interview Tibbs, right away he's got an attitude and says, Jordan Renan asks him about, hey, this team is built on the front four. And he goes to continue his, and Brian, I don't know if you saw this or not, because again, I know you've been tuning out, but Jordan Renan from ESPN, he's been on the show a couple times. We consider him a friend. He was asking Thibodeau, the question was revolving around, that this team is built on the front four, and he was about to launch into the second thing, and Thibodeau shut him down and said, anybody else got a question? And didn't answer it and blew him off.
Well, that's just a bad job out of Thibodeau. I mean, it's his job to go out there and field questions, especially when you get utterly embarrassed on week one. Go out there and answer the question. I mean, and Renan's not wrong for asking it. This is a defense that should be built on the front defensive line. They have the players. You could argue people were talking about as they were coming into this season that this giant front line defensively could be the best in football. So that's unprofessional for Thibodeau to shut him down like that. Completely unprofessional. He needs to answer the question. He could be short with it. He could be a Bill Belichick style, but don't shut him down like next question. Like that was heinous. Like he asked him something personal, like give me a break.
Yeah.
It wasn't very polarizing at all, but go ahead, Alex, jump in. What happened to the pass rush?
I don't know, man. Like so much of me wants to just dude, preseason's different now. It takes everybody a month to get going, but we should have had a dominant pass rush yesterday. The Vikings aren't a great team. They don't have an insane offensive line or anything like that. We should have been able to get the pressure. We should have been able to have more than the one sack. We should have been able to do a lot more. And I don't know if like Thibodeau, when I watched film, which by the way, the numbers make it very hard to watch to track who you're following with the way they put the numbers on the jerseys yesterday. But Thibodeau has no swim moves. He's got no rush moves at all. At least Burns, he can kind of finesse around people. Like Thibodeau just kind of straight bull rushes you, and he's not a bull rush type guy. I don't know what his deal is. It was frustrating watching him. Burns, I felt like at least made some stuff. Like he had opportunities there. Thibodeau just kind of was a non-factor at all.
And by the way, Chris, it just seems to be it's a running joke now, right? Like Thibodeau doesn't really play the run at all. He beats up on bad teams like Washington, right? Like he wants to be a leader, but he can't answer a question. Dexter Lawrence, I listened to it live on my way home. He answered every question. Then one question got repetitive, and he was like, "Come on, guys, can you ask me another question?" Like he was respectful. He wasn't ignorant about it. He just was like, they were asking him, and excuse me, Brian, for saying some of your colleagues, they continue to ask the same question over and over, like they're going to get another answer.
Yeah, just they word it differently, but it's the same question.
Yeah, so I thought Dexter did a great job. I didn't think Thibodeau did a great job of it, but Chris, what are we going to do? Like the defense needs a pass rush. We've already heard, we can't rely on Thibodeau to play the run and actually, like Alex just alluded to, figure out how to get to the quarterback. What are we going to do?
Well, Bowen, he'll have to scheme it up, but the Vikings do have two good. The interior line is the the weak spot of the Vikings, interior wise, with the guard and Ingram. But the two bookends are actually pretty, very good tackles with Darisaw and the other guy. But you know what? From what you see Bowen, he plays those edge guys wide. So I don't know. I mean, he's got to scheme it up. But I think Tibbs, we've seen this now the third year. He's a pass rushing type of specialist. He's not a straight hand in the running game. We haven't seen that yet. So teams are going to continue to go after him, I think, in the running game. He's going to have to, he's going to have to slide somebody over on that side to help him.
Chris is wanting us to know why we're pumping up, I guess, Oregon as some badass program. I mean, look.
We just thought Kayvon was going to be good. That was.
Yeah, I don't think you nailed it, Alex. You nailed it. It's not about Oregon. It's about the player, right? And by the way, Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal would have been drafted top 5 by 32 other teams. Everyone would have.
Why did it have to be us? Why did it have to be us when they're not good? Why can't we get the good guys? Huh? Like, why don't we ever get the good ones?
God, you sound like me.
Give me one. Give me one.
Lastly, Brian, I'll send this to you. My first response as the Vikings were kind of creating some momentum was Banks and McLeod did not look good. They didn't even test the middle of the field. They were just throwing 12 and 15-yard outs right down the field for a 100-yard drive. Bang, bang, bang. What was that all about? I was waiting for the adjustment, and it never came.
I didn't see any press coverage. I didn't see anybody bumping at the line. I just kind of saw them kind of going through the motions. Yeah, not good. I mean, not good. And going back to what you were saying about the defensive line, fixing it or fixing the defense, this is it, guys. Mm-hmm. We're stuck with this. There's no trade deadline moves the Giants can do, especially when they're not in contention. What are you making moves for at this point? It is what it is. Now, it'll be very interesting how Kayvon Thibodeau, now what year is he in? He's in his third?
3.
So this is year 3 of a rookie contract from him, right? It'll be very interesting what happens next year with him on a contract year, right? Because this is a 4-year. He's got a 4 years. He have a 5th-year option. I'm not sure.
Well, he's a first-round pick, so he'll get the 5th-year option.
He'll get the 5th year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it'll be very interesting on what he wants to do in the next year or two. And with this whole revamped defensive line we have with Kayvon Thibodeau as the #1 pick being in there and being the guy who's going to run the show and rush the pass. So it'll be very interesting on what his attitude will be in the next 2 years when he's in the contract year. Is he going to be like a Hassan Reddick and want to hold out when the guy stinks? I mean, that's not going to happen. Then on the other side of the coin, are the Giants going to re-sign him? Like, are they going to even care about him after that? And then what? Then where are we as a defense and Giants fans?
And
Another restructure of our defensive line.
Mm-hmm. And Brian, you're not going to be able to afford. You're not going to put all that money tied up with Burns and Tibbs, so you're going to have to make a decision at that point. To your point,
and Deonte Banks, if he pans out, he's going to want a contract. So it's like,
right.
This defense has to gel. This defense has to give the upper management a reason to keep these players together. Because if they don't work together and they stink, then the Giants are just going to be, it's a wash machine. We're just going to go through this process over and over and over again. We're going to be crying 5 years from now about the defense. Whereas you look back at the Giants' defensive lines back in the day, Hamilton was a guy that stuck around for years. Strahan was a guy that stuck around for years. OC was a guy that stuck around for years. Justin Tuck. There was no question about these guys. They're players. All of them. Yeah. And we have players that are in their second, third year. We don't know what the hell they are still, which is a bad spot to be in right now.
I think the sad part is that they just don't live up to their billing, because you don't have to be a sack expert, but you play the run. Like, let's just be honest. Like, Justin Tuck is one of everybody's favorite players, right? Class act, captain, off the field stuff, right? Guy was great. But again, the guy was a 10-sack guy, right? Guy was a 10-sack guy, right? But the guy played the run like a demon. Like, listen, you could look at JPP's numbers and you could say, yeah, he had like 3 great years and then he was down 4 years. He got hurt, went to another team, and then he had a couple good years, but he always played the run.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go another day with no tackles. Like this guy should be. We took with a first-round pick, and everybody else would have done the same thing. So I don't care who the GM was. We took a pass rushing specialist, not an outside linebacker, not a defensive end. The guy doesn't have any moxie. Alex, when's the last time you saw Kayvon Thibodeau just rock somebody?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Washington in the DeVito game.
And I'm not comparing anybody. I'm not going to compare anybody to the best defensive end the Giants ever had, which was Strahan. But going back to playing other aspects of the game, how many times, and this happened later on in his career, Strahan figured it out. How many times would he negate the rush, peel off when he recognized the screen coming out of the backfield, knock it down, pick it? We've seen that happen. Yep. I don't see the sense on the field, the playing sense when they're in the heart of the action, where these guys are going to make the heady moves like a guy like Strahan made. And believe me, I'm not comparing Thibodeau.
No, but you want the guy to actually, like Alex just said, right? Washington. So what? Once a year, this guy shows up.
Yeah.
And then he's got attitude with reporters. Like, dude, look, no offense.
You have no reason to have attitude after that. After one game, like what happens when
you're just compounding. You're compounding the fan disliking you at that point by doing that.
100%.
You'll never win. Never win against the fans.
Not in New York.
Nope.
The fans weren't exactly high right now on anything, so you need
just
to
give them a reason.
Them, just let them focus on Jones. Don't be any other target that they're going to reach out at.
That is such a great point there, by the way. That is such a great point, Alex. Like,
you had a bad day, just shut up, take it, and then don't say anything, and then we'll be like, okay,
100%.
Let's focus on the guy heckling Jones. Do this. Kayvon can, if he goes off, has 2 sacks next week. We're like, all right, fine. We forgot about week 1.
Yep.
Dude, you just
now
won.
You're a dick. I don't know.
You just won the internet, dude, because like that's it, right? When stuff's going bad, the last thing you want to do is jump in the boat that's sinking.
Homer Simpson into the bushes. Just
don't add fuel to the fire.
Yeah, play the game. And
what's he do? He shuts down Jordan Renan, got an attitude, shows up with another burger on the box score. I don't know, guys. To me, I just don't think he's a player.
I gotta be better. That's all he had to say. I gotta be better.
Dude, see, Alex is on fire today.
Yep.
See, Alex, you don't show up for like a month and you come back strong.
I just save all it takes for once a month. That's it.
All right. Well, let's do this because everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's going to be, going through it. The defense did not play well. We're hoping that these guys can gel. We definitely should be upset with management on the cornerback position.
And you know what, Craig? Just like last year, when the defense goes down by 2 scores, it feels like it's down by 3 scores or 4 scores, and it deflates them as well because it seems unattainable at that point.
I just want to go.
Can we also, while we're on the defense, can we just point out that was an absolute bullshit pass interference call that they had earlier, where it was absolutely it was OPI, if anything, and that set them up for a touchdown. That game, we weren't going to win that game yesterday, but that pretty much was like, all right, that's 3 scores.
And it was 3rd and 15. That was 3rd and 15 as well.
That was the drive. That would have ended the drive.
Yep.
You gave them
so here's how to recap that. That rule needs to be rewritten. You're rewarding the quarterback for throwing a short ball. That's a short ball, right? And the receiver has to reach over the DB who's positioned to make the interception
what
or
was
make
he supposed
the play.
to do?
Exactly.
Oh,
then
his head was turned too.
And they missed the face off. I mean the face mask.
He made the contact with him.
Yeah, the rule needs to be rewritten, because it's already hard enough to play defense. It's extremely hard to be a defensive back in today's world. And then you're going to say the quarterback throws the ball short. You're in position to knock it down or pick it off. You've done your job. Right? The quarterback threw the ball short, and you're going to call defensive pass interference when you're ready to pick it off, and the receiver literally reaches over the top for you, pulls your face sideways like this. I mean, it's a bad rule, and it needs to be rewritten. That's it.
They should be able to look at it and be like, no, that's not. Like, or soccer can do that fast enough with VAR. Just look at it. No, actually, that wasn't. And I understand that you could have to do that with every play, and that could complicate games. But there's a guy watching it. Just look in the booth real fast and be like, yep or no.
Yeah.
You could sit here and say you take away that touchdown, you take away the moronic pick 6. It's a 14-6 game. The Giants are in it. But when you're playing as bad as the Giants and you look as bad,
we weren't going to win.
No, right, but nothing goes your way. It's just when everything's bad, it's bad, and it's nothing goes your way.
So the defense looked pretty dismal, but that's not the biggest problem that we have. It's not the elephant in the room, and it's definitely what everybody wants to talk about is segueing to Daniel Jones. I'm this guy. I've said it, Brian. I've said it to you. I've said it to you, Chris. I'm now saying it to you, Alex. I am not a lover, hater of Daniel Jones. I'm just rooting for the quarterback of the New York Giants, right? Some things he does, and I'm like, all right, cool. But I've tried to be like, not a defender of him, but just like, hey, man, like, let's be positive. Let's move forward. Let's see what we have, right, Chris? How many times have we just said, Chris, let's just be positive, right?
We just want to support him. He's the Giants quarterback. You want to support him. That's what it really is.
So I can't do that anymore. I'm just at the point where like yesterday was bad all around. And Chris and I'll tell you guys what Chris and I talked about earlier is I've learned a lot about the quarterback position because I'm kind of training my own little one here, my 16-year-old who goes to a lot of quarterback training. And I'm like yesterday, he was just bad all the way around. Now, he had 3 passes that were hit right in the hands. Someone tried to tell me that pass to Hyatt was bad. Guarantee if that was Hodgins, he makes that catch. The pass to Tracy dropped. The pass to Theo they dropped, but the rest of them were in the dirt. They were wide right. He misses Malik in the middle of the field. He throws 3 in the turf. Like, he's got a mechanic issue. He's got a processing issue. Like, there's a lot going on here, and I don't even know where to go except for 2 places. Alex, I'll start with you. What did you think of his play? And 2, can he even bounce back? Because he took a beating yesterday.
Yeah, I was the Dan stan since day one. Everybody hated him when we drafted him, so I was like, I'm going to go the other way and just try and be positive. I don't want our ship to sink. That was my thinking, kind of like with you. Yesterday, that was it. Like I've been spinning it. Like I was at the Texans game when he threw the pick 6, and everybody around me was just making fun of me. And I was like, he's just joking around. It's preseason, and then you hope that it doesn't count. Okay, no. And then yesterday, there's absolutely nothing. I think he's shell shocked he's broken. He's broken. We can't fix him. Like, he was hesitating. He's always been nervous to throw the ball downfield because he was scared to turn it over. Now he's scared to check down. He's scared to throw the screens. He hesitates. He takes, like, that screen pass that was taken back for a touchdown. I don't even think was his fault. I think that's just how that was a good read on the screen that the Vikings had. I mean, Daniel just took the ball through it. Like, you don't really have it wasn't like he hesitated with it or anything like that. But he seems shell shocked. He's not a guy out there that's trying to make plays happen. He's just trying to, like, find something that he thinks is safe. And it's like he's waiting too long. He has zero pocket presence right now. There were so many times that, like, you just step up, dude. Just step up in the pocket, move over. And the 10-yard runs are 3 and 4 yard runs at best now. Like, he's just not there. And I wanted him to be successful. We need literally anyone else would be a better option right now.
He's not the guy. We know he's not the guy.
Give me the
right?
Italian. Give me the Italian.
You want spaghetti? Okay, I'm fine with that. And by the way, Chris and I talked this afternoon. By halftime of next year, half of next year. By halftime of next game, you might see spaghetti. Brian, what is your take? Give me your take on what you saw at Jones yesterday. And can he bounce back?
I'll tell you at the end of this as to why maybe there is a fighting chance that Daniel Jones that comes back, okay, or can fight out of this. But I'll tell you right now, Alex nailed it. He couldn't do anything right. Throwing off his back foot. Even when the receptions were made, the ball was thrown behind receivers. When you needed a big play, he wasn't there. Daboll, I don't know. I know the trend was, the rhetoric was Daboll's going to open it up and throw balls down the field. I didn't see any of that. I also saw some designed runs for Daniel Jones that looked terrible.
And why, by the way? The guy's injury prone. He's just coming off an ACL and a neck injury. Why?
I don't know.
That's all that was working, maybe.
And he didn't look like he wanted to carry the football either. I mean, it wasn't like he was. We're stuck with him. Typical, similar to what I said about the defense. Daniel Jones is the starter. Going back to what you said to open, you have to support the guy. He's your quarterback. Alex is right. You could pretty much take anybody in the NFL aside from maybe Will Levis, and you could have him be the starter. And Zach,
I'd give him a shot.
I mean, any starter in the NFL is better than right now than Daniel Jones from what he looked at yesterday. Now, the only saving grace is you go back to 2005, when people are ready to run Eli Manning out of town, and it's a home game against the Vikings. And the Vikings do not score an offensive touchdown, and the Giants lose the game. And Eli was, I think, responsible for 4 interceptions. Mm-hmm. And they were ready, 3 maybe, and they were ready to run Eli and Tom Coughlin out of town. And what happened after that? Completely turned the franchise around, and here we are with 2 Super Bowls with Eli and Tom Coughlin. Now, I'm not saying that's happened, but
I'm back in. I'm back in.
But
all the way back in. It
was a terrible performance against the Minnesota Vikings 19 years later. And maybe if there's any trend, any saving grace, you're looking for anything as a Giant fan, that maybe it happens again. Maybe, but I don't see it happening. I'm sorry.
And Brian, we know he beats Washington. That's about one of the only teams he beats.
Right, so he'll come out and beat Washington. The Giants will win. The Giants will win 6-7 games this year, and we'll be in a position in the draft-wise. What are we doing?
Right. I'm going to give you guys what I think is wrong. And I told Chris this today. I'm going to stand by it. I really am. So the narrative this year has been forced down our throats, what they call the open set choice routes, right? They did this back when Gilbride was the offense coordinator for Eli, and we could never figure out why Mario Manningham was going left and Eli was throwing right, or Ruben Randall would be running a slant on the left side of the field and Eli would be throwing on the right. Because what they do is, and again, this kind of died out. We didn't really talk about it very much. Evidently, this has been in place for 2 years since Daboll got here. But now that Daboll's calling the plays, they're pushing the narrative out because this is Daboll's offense. The open set choice routes are the wide receivers get to choose, depending on the leverage, where they're going to break. They're going to break in. They're going to break out. They're going to stop short. Like the receiver is basically calling out what route he's going to run. The quarterback has to process that, see that, know where he's going to be, and throw the ball. Well, let me tell you, and you may think I'm crazy, and I don't really give a shit, because I'm going to tell you, the ball comes out of his hand late every freaking time, because he's waiting to figure out what the receiver is going to do. Daniel Jones, and I say this very loosely, but is like Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman could throw to a spot on a dime and put it into a keyhole, but he wasn't dynamic. He just threw the ball to a great spot that Irving could get it time in and time again. That's what Daniel Jones can do. He's got a great arm, and if he knows where to put the ball, he'll put the ball. But guys, he's late every time. Why is he late? Oh, I'll take it a step further. Why did he throw the ball in the ground? Throw the ball in the ground when you short arm the ball. Why do you short arm the ball? It's mechanics. Why are you short arming the ball? Because you're trying to change what you're doing mid-throw. Okay? You're going to throw it to the left, and you just read it wrong, right? And you now have to change your arm slot. You throw the ball in the dirt,
which is just a product of indecision.
Yes, but again, the indecision, it only stems from the fact that he doesn't know where the receiver is going to be.
Just commit to something, man. You got to be confident and throw it, and you're gonna have turnovers like that. He's so scared to turn the ball over. Like somebody in the chat said, when they fixed the fumble thing, they made him micromanage everything he was doing, and I think they corrected his fumbles. He had 0 turnovers. It felt like for that year where he had like the least amount of turnovers when we went to the playoffs, and it was just like they weren't allowing him to do enough stuff. And now I feel like he's like, well, if I turn it over, that's it. Yep. Like commit to it. I'd rather you mess up going 100 miles an hour than just hesitate and not throw the ball right. Like and commit. If Jalen Hyatt's running the wrong route, okay. If he tears it off, all right. Whoops.
I get it,
but at least you're trying something.
Agreed. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. And Cold, I get it. This isn't about comparing him to Aikman. I'm just saying the kind of thrower. It didn't matter. Even at UCLA, Aikman wasn't a dynamic quarterback. He just had a really good arm. My point is that you watched that deep in route, Chris, right? Wan'Dale Robinson had that like 12-yard in route, and he threw it 5 yards to the left.
Yeah,
yeah, because he just the time he processes what he sees, it's too late. And then he's making mechanical issues. Like I said, short arming the ball, holding it too long, right? He's not just whipping the ball around the lot because he has to wait to figure out what they're doing.
And Craig, to your point, it's been so evident for years now. The processing is so slow. He doesn't get rid of it. Yep. It stays, and then it's gone.
Yeah, and Chris said this to me today. You know, you didn't know what he was about because you had a bad O-line and then you had bad wide receivers.
Everything was cloudy.
That's cleared up. There's no more cloudiness to the picture anymore. And now you're literally looking at this dude has a problem processing. But if they just went to like whatever the play call was, whatever the route was, and if he just had to throw the ball to the route and the sticks, throw to the sticks, throw to this, throw that stick route, throw that comeback, that curl, that in, that drag, that dig, whatever it is, he'd probably be a serviceable quarterback. But him having to make a decision with all the chaos around him, the ball comes out of his hand late. Yesterday, the ball came out of his hand too low because he's trying to make an adjustment mid-throw. You guys can hate him, say he sucks. That's fine. I don't really care. I'm just literally telling you why the ball goes down when you throw it. Okay, mechanics. The ball goes down when you are trying to change the trajectory of the ball mid-slot. Instead of whipping the ball here.
Doing that.
What's that?
Then just stop doing that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Exactly.
Do not that.
Craig, let me ask you this. In your opinion,
yes,
do you think it's more, and going back to the read and react routes, like an open set, reading what the receiver is going to do you think it's more chalked up to the pre-snap read, and meaning that when a corner is playing up on a wide receiver, and let's say he's playing head up and he's inside eye of the receiver, that's obviously going to be a sideline route, you would think, right? Yep. If he's outside eye of the receiver and forcing you back towards the middle of the field, that's obviously going to be an in route. If he's playing head up on you, that's going to be more of a button hook. If he's off coverage, maybe it's a quick pass, you get 7 yards. One of those quick passes.
Slant, skinny post.
Correct. So how much do you think it's more pre-snap on Daniel Jones with the reads, or just in the play instincts where he's just freaking out?
Yeah, it's post-snap. I think the kid went to Duke, right? He's plenty smart. He knows what he sees. He knows what he wants to do. Post-snap, he's just, why do you think he focuses on the receiver? because he's waiting to figure out what he's going to do. like it's so evident that I can't understand why NFL quarterback coaches don't figure it out. He's not that guy. Okay, in a post-snap world, he's not going to put the ball fast. Even the delivery of his pass is not bad, but a guy, Rodgers can do it. Who else has got a real? Mahomes can do it. Certain guys have such quick delivery.
Who else? Everyone.
Yeah, well, that's not necessarily true, but so yes, to answer your question, it's a post-snap read. It's too slow processing-wise, right? And then, like I said, he got sacked 5 times. 3 of them, he ran right into the guy, right? Like the ball's got to go, dude. He had Malik Neighbors wide open in the middle of the field 2 times, and one time he ran it, and one time he threw it out of bounds.
Yep.
Like he doesn't see it because he was expecting one thing, he got another thing, and he can't get the ball out of his hand fast enough. That's not me defending him. I'm just saying mechanically, he threw the ball in the dirt 3 times. Like honestly, Chris, have we ever seen? And maybe I'm wrong. Have we ever seen Daniel Jones throw the ball in the dirt before? That's not his MO.
No, and it shows you he's mentally. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's a lot of this is mental, and it's at a point now where confidence is an issue, and it might be time soon to
just throwing the ball in the dirt. He never throws the ball in the dirt. He may be high. He may be behind. He's never throwing the ball in the dirt. He threw the ball in front of Singletary. He threw the ball in front of Wan'Dale Robinson. He's throwing the ball in the dirt because his mechanics are freaking off, because he's trying to make. I'll give him credit that he's trying to make an adjustment mid-throw, but it's not going to work, dude. It's like Alex's point. Then just let it go, because I'm telling you, he can't function anymore. It's done. He's David Carr. I mean, it's not there anymore. Like you said, like he's got all the intangibles, pre-snap, weight room, locker room, height, but post-snap, his mind is just too busy. Patrick Mahomes' mind is crystal clear during the game. And then you go to the mechanics. How many wide balls were there thrown yesterday? How many were in the dirt? Now, Alex, tell me about the play calling. I hear everybody's mad at the play calling. I'm kind of mad at the play calling, but what did you think of the play calling?
I feel like at the end of the day, it didn't matter what the play calling was because Daniel Jones wasn't going to get it done. And it was like that, like kind of what y'all said earlier, like the offensive line didn't look bad. I feel like we had the receivers there finally. And like, it was whatever it was like, I mean, there was some questionable stuff. I felt like we should have maybe tried to run the ball more. We weren't really having a lot of success with it, but maybe try and move it down the field a little bit more. I don't know. It was just, everything goes back to like whatever we called. I just don't have faith that Daniel was going to get it done. And that was the first time where I had zero optimism. Like that Chris, second half, I just wanted to go home that whole time.
Yeah, I was stuck at the stadium. So me and Brian, and Chris,
all
3 of us were stuck there. So
I left at the end of the 3rd quarter, and it was the best move I could possibly.
Same here.
Oh, I love it. Chris, play calling. Talk to me, Chris, about the play calling.
You know, is it Dable? Is it Jones? Because you expect, is Jones, there was nothing downfield, and that was the mind-boggling part. You see O'Connell, the head coach of the Vikings, at 3rd and 15. Darnold takes a shot downfield, gets the flag. I'm a firm believer the way these officials call games, you have a 50-50 shot on these throws down the boundary sideline, right, Brian? So why I don't know why Dable didn't pull Jones aside and say, listen, we're going to take a shot here. Like, there was not one shot down the sideline. Forget even if Neighbors, Hyatt, whoever, Slayton, just take a shot. And once again, I'm not sure. Is that Jones not seeing the field? It was called, and he checks out of it and goes somewhere else, and he checks down. Or is it Dable not calling it? It's very clouded on who's takes more of the responsibility here in that, this situation with the offense. But I expected more shots. I mean, the whole thing we heard during training camp was going to let it rip, right? Jones, let it rip.
Going back to him, like somebody was talking about Flores, like he kept doing that where he was faking the blitz. It looked like a blitz, and then they drop everybody back into coverage, and that just broke Daniel's brain. Like Daniel had no clue.
Hey, look at Van Kinkel. You heard him say it. He knew exactly where that ball was going on the screen.
Yeah.
How many times we've heard these defensive backs kind of chuckle a little bit post game when they're being interviewed, reading the play and this and that, and they see.
You heard Sauce Gardner after they did the. You heard Sauce Gardner after the combined team practice.
Yes, good call.
He kind of laughed at Daniel Jones. It's like he's all right, like it was. I mean, I don't know. And then people pushed it aside, or he pushed it aside and said that he was laughing at a teammate doing something 10 yards away or something like that. Whatever.
Mhm.
But I mean, it didn't come across that way.
Right, right.
I have my take on the play calling is it wasn't horrible, but like I said, you got 3 balls in the dirt. He threw 5 wide or high. He missed 3 or 4. I mean, just like 10 passes probably would have helped this team score a touchdown or get in the field goal range. But like, there's like 10, 11 passes that just were purely on Jones not getting it done, right? So there's that aspect. So if the play calling was so bad, why were 3 balls dropped when Jones put it on Theo, Tracy, and Hyatt, right? So there's 3 there. You got 3 in the dirt. There's 6. 4 plays he just missed wide open guys. 1 to Wandale, 2 to Neighbors, and I can't remember who the last one was, but that's 10 plays
Tracy.
that could have made a difference. The other side of it is this: at halftime, where was the adjustment? I was waiting for Brian Dable to impose his will on the Vikings, and it never came. I was like, roll it out, hit Neighbors, roll it out and hit Bellinger. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get some guys in space. Let's get Singletary in space. And it never happened. And I said, and I like Dable. And I think that, he's good for this team. I think sometimes they lean a little bit too much on that Buffalo stuff, but we don't need a bunch of small dudes. We don't need Gunner, and we don't need McKenzie, and we don't need Wandale, and we don't need those small guys. But that's okay. That's what we have. But it doesn't matter if we're not going to be dynamic. If we have all this speed, we have all these like really short, shifty dudes, right? Well, then somehow Dable's got to get him into space, right? We got to figure out how to get him in space. I just kept thinking there was going to be some shift. Halftime's up. Dable freaks out. Even Chris, tell him what you told me about the press conference with Dabes.
I mean, maybe it's me reading into it, but I didn't see a fiery coach at the press conference. I didn't see somebody that was real, pissed off. He didn't have to call anybody out, but I would have loved to hear him say something like, hey, this is unacceptable. We've been through OTAs. We've been through rookie camp, mini camp, training camp. This isn't the product that I expected today. I mean, that's what I would have liked to hear. You didn't have to call anybody out. But just
4 and 13, 5 and 12. Is this regime done?
4 and 13. My opinion, I think so. At 4 and 13, he's
got
to win. I think 6, 7 games, 6 minimum.
I didn't even think that it could be the case, but after leaving the stadium yesterday, if this season completely implodes and they go 4 and 13 and 5 and 12, I mean, you got to get rid of them.
How do you not?
Right? You can't keep doing this if you're John Mara. I mean, you got to get rid of him.
I
would think. I don't want it to be that way because I tend to like them. The tandem between Shane and Dable has nothing to do with the hard knocks either. Has nothing to do with that. Right. But I like the regime, but they go 4 and 13, 5 and 12. I mean, this could be a whole nother revamp again.
I know.
Is the argument though that they never had their quarterback? Is that an
Mara takes the blame with some of this? Yeah.
I mean, they could have gone and gotten one this year, but that was it. Like
valid. But you look at how many teams change coaches now. On Black Monday when they're firing everybody. It's almost impossible not to let them go if it's that bad.
Yeah.
Brian, be with FAN. When does the chirping start with Belichick? At 0-4, 0-5? When does that start?
100%. Oh, I'm ready. If they go 1 and 4, I'm ready to plug it. Bring a Corsi back and put Belichick at the helm, and let's run it back with the 19.
And these are the names you're going to hear.
Yeah,
Vrabel, defensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels, OC. Those are the names you're going to hear, right?
If Corsi still wants to be the GM, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm bringing back Ernie. That's it. I'm sorry. I am.
All right. I have a question then, because I had a buddy of mine text me from New England today. He's like, so when you bringing Bill back, right? And it's going to take off and it's going to have legs and all this stuff. Bill can't win without Tom, for starters. Secondly is, guys, the problem, if you had to weigh it out, I'll ask you, Chris, I'll start with you. Problem-wise, 50-50 coaching GMs, 50 quarterback? What's the percentage? Because I'm leaning on the fact that it's 75% it's the quarterback.
Oh, I agree. Oh, I think it's. I think we all agree it's Jones is the issue.
So you can't get rid of, as Alex alluded, you can't get rid of Dable and Shane when they're stuck with Jones and the guy made the playoffs and it was the going rate for a quarterback, because you just saw what Lawrence just got paid, right? Or whatever, right? Like it was what were they gonna do?
Dak got paid.
Yes, Dak just got paid. So again, I'm not saying that Jones is as good as Lawrence or Dak. I'm just saying that, like, I've got a better solution. It's not an easy solution, and it's not what you guys are going to want to hear. But the solution is, and I'm going to read you a list of names. Started off with Dave Brown, and then Danny Cannell, and Kent Graham, and Jesse Palmer. Okay? Those were the quarterbacks of the 90s until what happened? Ernie Accorsi went and gambled on a guy who drank too much, had some locker room issues on some of the things he said, and that cat resurrected the New York Giants and took them out of quarterback hell, and that would be number 5, Kerry Collins.
And you want to know why? Because he had a set of balls. That's why.
He did.
Kerry had a set of balls.
He did.
Yeah. So
he didn't give an F about what anybody said about him. He just went out there and played football. That's
that dude could throw the freaking rock.
Yep.
So here's my take. I disagree that this roster is terrible. I do. There are a lot of pieces here I like. Nobody has a team of all-stars and all-pros. Nobody's got a full team of that. You need role players. You need B-level players, right? What's that, Alex?
It feels like the Eagles have a team of all pros. Maybe not center right now, but
maybe.
And the Jets.
The Jets.
I don't know, man. I haven't seen the Eagles have won Super Bowl.
Pretty close.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, that you're thinking about the big names, but if I ask you who the left guard is, you don't know. If I ask you who the safety is, you don't know. Like, not everyone has a full 53 guys of Pro Bowls. I'm only making the point is this. Let Dable and Shane draft the quarterback of their choice. But in the meantime, Chris, what do we do? Because we already talked about what do I want to do here, Chris?
What do you mean right now, this year? What do you do?
Former alcoholic quarterback that's a free agent.
You
Tannehill have a drinking problem?
You want.
There you go. Listen,
well, he did hold out for a starting job. That was his
answer.
thing. That's what his agent said. He wants a starting job. They walk right in. He didn't want to sit back.
What are we waiting for?
That's the line. That's the line of the night. Does Tannehill have a drinking problem?
If not,
if so, bring him in, boys.
Yeah, and if not, send a couple cases of beer to his house in a bottle right now. Dude, why? Jameis Winston's addicted to crab legs. He said.
I'd throw Jameis Winston. Like would you give a 4th round draft pick for Jameis Winston?
No, I can't do that.
5th?
Nobody wants
I
him.
would.
They can get him for free.
I think I would.
I would do a 4th. Jameis Winston, not the best quarterback in the world, but Jameis Winston, I think, instantly improves this offense and could walk in and give him.
I do know one thing. That cat will throw the ball. That cat will throw the ball.
That's what I mean. He's not afraid.
He's going to throw 15 interceptions in 4 weeks, but he may
score
throw
40 points a game.
Just as many touchdowns, too.
Right.
But that's my thing. Brian, the team is not lost, right? There are good pieces here.
Well, the season's not lost. It's one game.
Cole, Tannehill is literally waiting for someone to get hurt. It's not anybody picking him up. The dude's nuts and thinks he deserves a big time payday, right? So right now, like if Jones is not going to be it, you're throwing it away again because DeVito's not going to win you crap. Now, don't get me wrong. Chris, what did we say about Locke today?
The one thing he has going for him is his mind is still there. He's got a clear head, something Jones doesn't. So
no baggage.
Well, I think you answered your own question. I think after, let's say, Daniel Jones doesn't perform next 2, 3, 4 weeks, I think you're going to wind up seeing Drew Lock. I think
benched Eli after 2 games.
I think that's the valid, basically outcome if he keeps playing the way he's playing. I think they're going to turn to Drew Lock. You're not picking up to be honest with you, I don't want Tannehill. Me personally, I don't think Tannehill's I don't really. I think all you're doing is flipping. You're basically changing the names on the jersey. I think.
No, man. I think you're underestimating the guy who got
Ryan
bludgeoned.
Tannehill is a receiver. People forget that. Ryan Tannehill is a receiver.
He did have that
receiver.
Yes.
Jalen Ramsey basically said, "I'm just going to wait for Tannehill to throw that 10-yard out, and I'm going to pick it off," and he did. I mean, he was like,
yeah.
Like
I'm just saying, Tannehill's got no baggage, right? Locke's got no baggage. I just again, we just need a change right now. Okay. 2025 free agent quarterbacks are not great, and I'm going to read you the list.
Colt McCoy.
I think he retired recently.
He did. This is your 2000. Yeah, I love this. The goofballs. I don't know which guy it is, but junk is better than poop. Yeah. So Ryan Tannehill holds down the fort until your quarterback that you draft next year, whether it's Beck or Dart or whoever you want. But here's your or you have another crappy year, right? But look. Here's your 2025 free agent quarterbacks top 10. Number 1, Trevor Lawrence. Number 2, Justin Fields. Number 3 is Brissett. Number 4 is Darnold. Number 5 is Mac Jones. Number 6, which is intriguing, which is Russell Wilson. Number 7 is Jameis Winston. 8, Andy Dalton. Number 9, Jimmy Garoppolo. Number 10, Joe Flacco. There's really not a lot there. Except I thought maybe Russell Wilson.
That's absolutely not. Absolutely not, Russell Wilson.
Well, you know what? I'm not a fan of Russell Wilson either, but it was intriguing. They brought him in on his way up to Pittsburgh to sit down and talk with Shane and Dable. It's almost like they did a little due diligence for next year because it's a one-year deal. I could see the Giants drafting a quarterback and then bringing in a vet like Wilson and let the rookie sit.
The word was Russell Wilson didn't want to sit behind Daniel Jones, and then he was like, "Well, then I'm going to shoot up to Pittsburgh." That was the word on that. But you know what? Russell Wilson's just a weirdo. He's just a weird dude.
I know there's a lot of stuff on.
Yeah, I don't want. He's too cringy. I don't want him on my team.
A lot of weird stuff going on with him. I don't want him anywhere near the Giants. To be honest with you, no thanks.
Well, there's not a guy on here, and I think when I pulled this list, I think Trevor Lawrence didn't he sign a new deal because Cole just mentioned that he's not a free agent anymore.
Yeah,
so
he's not.
So I pulled that off.
Bring Sam Darnold in next year. If you're gonna do that, just bring Darnold in for one more year. He's kind of just the hired hitman now in the league, where you're like, all right, just go here for a year, and we'll move you around after this.
He's the new Fitzmagic.
You just throw him in there. I don't know if that's what we're gonna do, but here's my conspiracy theory that I went through as I was sitting at the bar trying to justify why I was not leaving yet in the second half. What if Dable and Shane just went to Mayor and they're like, look, we know we need a quarterback. We know we were going to have to give up the farm to get May. What if we just suck real bad this year? We just ride Jones to the ground and he's not going to be good. And we're just going to get the first draft pick and then we'll get our guy.
I don't want Sanders.
I don't either. No, keep him away from us.
100%.
You're getting blown out. No, thank you.
Who?
Sanders from Colorado.
No. He had surgery today anyway, didn't he?
I don't want him. No, thank you. But who's the top quarterback coming out right now at college?
Carson Beck, probably.
I'm sticking with my guy. I'm sticking with my guy Dart.
Ooh, I'd take Cam Ward. Cam Ward would be sick.
Cam Ward, maybe. Yeah, Cam Ward's a big dude. He can make it happen.
Is Aaron Rodgers still on the football field right now? Did Aaron Rodgers get hurt yet?
No.
He plays in already.
He's still in there. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, like Dart, Beck, Ward, somebody else may pop, because sometimes you get guys pop. Shiloh had forearm surgery or something, but no, I don't want his brother either, and I don't want Dion. We already talked about that. But guys, so are we just running this thing with DeVito with spaghetti and meatballs with Locke? I mean.
Yes.
Dude, DeVito wasn't good, but we had vibes. The vibes were there at least. And if we're gonna be god awful, at least give us some Italian funniness to go with it. That sort of saved because last year wasn't fun, but then we had a month with DeVito where we were like, okay, I can watch football for a little bit and not hate myself. And just give me a little bit of that. That's all I ask. We have 16 games left. Maybe not hate myself for all of those, please.
I don't know.
I'm not sticking with Tommy DeVito. I don't care what gestures he does or what nationality he is. No, thank you. I mean, but
Take him
again,
over Jones right now.
but like, right. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Again, there's no other option.
You don't really have a lot of options.
No, it's Drew Lock. I mean, that's it. That's the
Hey,
option.
keep an eye on Atlanta with Penix and Cousins. See how that plays out.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Why you think for next year or this year?
No, next year.
Next
See
year.
what happens. How this year goes with
Cousins is not a young cat though.
I think they drafted. I think
yesterday.
Atlanta did a great move by drafting Penix too, right behind, and just like a just in case thing for Kirk Cousins if he can't finish the season or whatever the case may be.
But man, they pay him a lot of cash.
The future's going to be Penix there, so he's right. Like, let's see what happens with them this year and see where
I just don't want them to ruin a guy that they draft and throw him into the fire with the way this team is, and then this guy suffers now.
Well,
like,
I'm
I'd
glad
rather
you
a guy sit a little bit if we.
Are you talking in regards to the quarterback? You're saying?
Yeah, I'm sorry. If they were to draft somebody, I wouldn't mind a Cousins for a couple.
To
years
piggyback that, I was going to say before with the offense. Now I know it's one game, but a guy like Neighbors, the talent that he is, right? We got to watch. The Giants organization's got to watch how bad they are and keep his head still.
Because he's not going to want to stay.
Because I don't want this guy to be falling by the wayside, miserable here, pissed off at Jones, pissed off at the coaches, pissed off at management, and then we wasted another number one pick, and he's disgruntled and wants out. You know what I mean? So that's a big aspect here. Like, whoever we get to play quarterback for us next year, we got to make sure that this Neighbors we got to coddle him, make sure that he's happy. I mean, because if he's not, I mean, I just can't. I'm just so sick of this. If he's not, then we're in more trouble than we are come 2-3 years down the road. So
so the guys from Group Ball said no, they're not going to trade Penix. That's not what we're talking about. They're talking about Cousins, but
correct.
I think Cousins has a out clause where he gets to choose where he wants to go. I can look up his contract on Sports.
Yeah, Penix is going nowhere.
Penix. No, the issue that the New York Giants have right now is that, like, Can you make a change this year? Probably not. Can you make a change next year? You have to. Like, there's no reason to think that Jones can do it. Maybe he salvages, some wins here, but the problem still is still going to exist on Jones isn't the guy, and they need to move on and clean with a clean slate. So guys like Neighbors and stays, right? And all these guys that you're bringing in, they don't want to play for a team with another head coach and another, and another regime and another playbook. And guys are already a lot of them are all soft anyway, right? I mean, look what we got in Tibbs. Oh, I don't want to play the run. I don't want to answer questions. I don't you got to coddle these guys. I've said this earlier today to Chris. I think part of it is some of the programs in college let these guys, they're not accountable for anything. They're already millionaires before they come into the league. Like, I don't know. Maybe they don't love football. Maybe certain programs like Iowa, or maybe certain programs like Texas, Colorado. maybe they're just different programs. You know what I mean? Like, maybe those guys, create a different atmosphere. Maybe some of these big, shiny nickels like Alabama and Georgia and Florida State, maybe those guys just they don't get pushed hard enough.
Not only that, these guys with the NIL agreements and the way it's so convoluted with college football now, these guys, depending on where they're drafted, are making less money than they were when they were playing in college. So think about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
incentive.
And then you're drafted to a giant football team that can't get out of their own way. Coach is trying to tell you what to do. And you're going to be like, I mean, these guys are kids still, you're going to be like, what the hell are you telling me? I made more than you make in college. You know what I mean?
That's a problem, by the way.
It's a problem. Mm-hmm. It's a problem, but there's no way to fix it. I don't think there's any way to fix it. I think the NCAA is as corrupt as any organization on the face of the earth. I think as long as they're making money and the bottom line is always in the plus revenue-wise, I don't think the NCAA gives two shits about any of that, really, at the end of the day. And it sucks because that's the world we live in, and it sucks for professional sports, but that's just the way it is.
Is that right?
Because it'd be a cap hit of $90 million if they traded him.
That's so much.
That doesn't even sound realistic. I believe you, but it doesn't even sound
why
realistic.
Why would you put that in a contract?
And if you planned on drafting a quarterback.
I would have to double check that, but I mean, ridiculous.
Unless they plan on keeping Penix on the bench for another 2 years.
Ooh, Quinn Ewers is also available next year too. Possibly, we could draft if we're drafting
Maybe
quarterbacks. and use
maybe
the
this
dog
is
on
all about.
Saturday.
But you know what, Alex? He may be available, but you know who's available the next year is Arch Manning, and maybe that was the whole.
Yeah,
ploy
well, I
all
think we have
along.
2 years. We'd have to wait, and we
By
won't
the
make
way-
it. I can't do it with this for 2 more years.
No, I can't. But if they did that, I might lose all
I would
faith.
love it, but like,
No, it would
but it'd be sick if we got Arch. It'd be so sick if we got Arch.
dude. It would just
Like,
tell
how
you.
sick would that be? It's an instant Super Bowl. Instant Super Bowl. No way we don't win a Super Bowl with another Manning. No way.
I would feel like the organization pulled the wool over my eyes for years with stealing my money and all the pain and suffering when they knew that was the plan the whole time.
Bring back a Corsi. He'll draft him. A Corsi drafted Eli. He'll draft Arch.
You
There you go.
Well, remember they traded for Eli.
Right,
just
that's
to
true. That's true.
Yeah.
He didn't draft him. You're right. You're right.
All right. So Chris, how long? When does Jones get pulled? Halftime? End of the game? Doesn't get pulled?
If the offense trends the way it has, and he's missing receivers, and he's off, maybe, we got to see how the game is. But I think he gets till halftime, depending on the situation. If he looks like he did on Sunday, this past Sunday, I don't know if he'll start the third quarter. If it's the same pattern, if there's no improvement, and this offense sputters.
You're saying week 2 he would not be coming in the third quarter against Washington if the Giants are down 17-3 at half.
Depending on the 17-3, how that transpired. But if they can't get into the red zone and he's not moving the ball and it's 3 and outs, moving, missing guys dropping interception, almost got picked off. Yeah, that the same pattern we saw in that first go around. I don't know how you let him walk into the second half. If the game is within reach, even where you want to need to win this game, I think you put Locke in that game in the third quarter. If it's 14-3 and you have a shot to still win it, I don't know how you keep Jones in the game if it's not moving.
I can't. Anybody who tries to argue that you can't argue that.
Yeah. It's almost like a relief pitcher, right? He had his start, didn't have it. He's getting another start on Sunday. If he doesn't have it, you pull him in the third inning. It's a 5-1 ball game. You're still in it. You got to try and get the win.
Week 2 last year, though, remember we got our ass kicked by the Cowboys, and then we were getting our ass kicked by the Cardinals, and then it was like Danny Big Dick came out for a second there.
And that was the strange part, because the rumor was Dable took over, and we saw the play calling totally change in that second half, which is odd. That it's kind of reminiscent of the Kafka situation, what we saw on Sunday.
I mean, that offense, again, like, I'm not killing Dable. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But, like, how do you not roll out and throw the ball to the tight end? I mean, Bellinger's
I don't understand. There's no shots.
They don't even use him.
We need a tight end. We need an athletic tight end.
But here's the thing. I don't even know what first of all, Theo Johnson's pretty damn athletic. He drops the first pass. We already know Bellinger can play. They don't throw him the ball. Like open up the playbook. You've been talking about throwing the ball downfield all summer long. So freaking do it.
Right.
Are they wearing these uniforms every week?
No, that was a one and done.
One more time this year.
Oh, one more? Oh, geez.
I thought they were doing it. They were doing these jerseys twice, and then they're doing the blue throwbacks once.
I knew they had the legacies. Yeah, the legacies are coming in. I thought these 1930 ones are done, but maybe.
They have to sell more of them. They hyped it up too much.
That's what it comes down to.
I saw
but trying to watch a game back is brutal.
Sales will go down after Sunday. Forget it.
Yeah, we shouldn't wear them again.
These are getting right up there with the red ones now.
I put a tweet out today. I said, the only thing I was happy about on Sunday is that Jeremy Shockey was in the building, first time since 2007, and Kerry Collins was there. Those were the two highlights of the day. I was like, dude, Jeremy Shockey's here. Like, Shockey has not been back since 2007. He doesn't do anything with the organization. So it was really cool to see the Shock, man. And of course, Kerry Collins, like, rolling out from, like, the woods of Tennessee. He comes out.
That was embarrassing by the fan who had the trivia questions with Shock.
My God.
I mean, did you see that guy? And he's like, Mark Bavaro? And then Shockey comes up behind him and he's like, gives him a big hug. I'm like, dude, stop it. Come on.
Yeah. But the question was, then he got drafted in 2002. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, how would Mark Bavaro get drafted in 2002?
I really thought they gave him the answers. That proved that they don't. I really thought they always gave him answers.
I wanted to punch that guy in the face so bad. I was like, dude, you don't belong up there to be hugging Jeremy Shockey.
Kick him out. Kick him out.
That, and another point to yesterday, fun point. Tiki Barber does his video tribute, to the fans and thank you guys, whatever. He does it in the Legacy Club of Giant Stadium. Strahan, I love it. Guys, sorry I can't be there. Meanwhile, he's got like a beautiful beach behind him. He's got like the flowered shirt on, buttoned down to his chest. Guys, sorry I can't be there. Tiki's in the Legacy Club of Giant Stadium. Strahan is out in Bali. Yeah. I was cracking up. Yeah. Cracking up.
Yes, well, Strahan can pull that kind of stuff.
Right,
off.
he can.
Yeah.
But I was cracking up. Like I noticed
fun.
how Tiki's in the stadium recording it probably this week, and Strahan is who knows where.
Yeah, yep. I remember when I read his book, and he wasn't sure if he was going to come back and play for Coughlin. They said when camp started, they were finding him every day, and he was like, "I don't care." He's like, "I'm on the beach with Eddie Murphy's ex-wife. I'm just fine.
Yep.
I'm not coming back."
Yep.
So, Strahan's a man. Oh, well, good guys. Let's put a bow on it this way. Perfect world, Alex. What do you want to happen?
I want us to
this year
win all of the rest of our games.
Right.
No, realistically,
perfect world. You said perfect world. That would be a perfect world if we just went out and then we're like, haha, remember you guys thought we were bad week 1. Turned that around, didn't it?
All right.
Realistically, I would like us to just not get blown out and not embarrass ourselves, but I feel like that's going to be really hard to do. If we could see some sort of competency at the quarterback position on Sunday, if we could beat Washington, that would be my perfect world right now. Just don't go 0-2.
Fair enough. You don't want to go 0-2. Brian, how about you?
I want them to make the playoffs. I want them to go 12-5, make the playoffs, or go 4-13 and be terrible and put themselves in a draft position to get the quarterback that Daboll and Shane want, the regime, their own guy, to come in and start things that way into the 2025 season. I don't want to be middle. I don't want to be 8-9, 9-8. I don't want to be even probably 10-7, miss the playoffs, or 7-10 or whatever. I don't want to be middle of the pack. It's either all or nothing for me. I want them to make the playoffs at 12-5. 11-6, and I want them to win some playoff games and give us something to build on, which means that Daniel Jones is going to have to perform better than he has. Obviously, he can't throw off the back foot. He can't short on things. He's got to be decisive in his decisions, and the defense has to play better. We need a pass rush from the defensive line. I think you need to build off that. I think that's it. Build 1 week at a time. I think it's great that they have a team like Washington they're playing this week. I think because imagine they're playing the Cowboys this week, and then they got Cleveland. Imagine and Washington was pushed back on the schedule. I think this is if there's any get right week in the NFL, I think this week, a division opponent, which recently they've done well against. I think if there's any get right week, it's this week, and build off a win. Hopefully, come Sunday. I mean, that's
here's I love the take. There's 2 things about that take that are disturbing, and I mean this in a fun way.
Right?
If they won 12 games, that would mean Daniel Jones is coming back as the quarterback in 2025. I can't have that.
But then he would have been really good if they won 12 games. So
Correct.
then we're back on Daniel.
And then you could use that draft equity. Not that you'll have much equity because you're 12-5, but you could use that draft pick somewhere else than worrying about a quarterback or trading up for a quarterback.
I feel like it's fool's gold, just like 2022.
Maybe we'd still take a quarterback, let him sit.
Yeah,
you do a whole Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers move.
Right.
See,
I'm doing so well.
I just I don't want to lose every Sunday. It's just the whole weekend.
I can't
sucks.
do last year again.
No, man, like the weekend just sucks. Everything sucks, And I'm down here in Philadelphia territory. I got a list. Do you know how many times this thing blew up every time Barkley hit pay dirt?
Dude, I don't know how you live down there. I wouldn't even be close to that anywhere in that area. I don't know how you live down there.
It's very nice down here.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. I can't go to my local bar and see Eagles crap everywhere. That's not happening. There was no way.
I know, but I have bear and deer in my backyard, and I go right through the Pine Barrens where they bury the bodies, and I go right to LBI. I go right to the beach.
Craig had to make a business decision, so he has to be down there.
My wife knows it too. Even friends of hers or whatever, and she'll tell me he's an Eagles fan. I'm like, this can't happen.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, there's no way. I'm not being friends with these people. It's just not happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not. I'm not. I don't have any friends. I'm not friends with anybody here.
I take that as an insult, Craig.
You don't live here. I'm down here. Down here.
I gotcha.
Yeah, down here. Like I said, everybody was like blowing up my phone. They're like, Barkley touchdown, Barkley touchdown. They're like, Barkley touchdown. I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to hear it. All right, Chris, how about you? Give me. I got pie in the sky, win or lose. I got over here like just figuring out Daniels. What about you? Give me something.
What do you mean? What do you want for the
I need
season?
a solution.
Sunday?
I need a solution for this year.
There is no solution. We got to write it out. I want to win games.
Not
I want to win games, man. And you know what? The scary part is we know Jones plays well against Washington. I could see it already. 3 touchdowns. He throws for 280 yards, and everybody's got, you know, hey, you know what? Maybe he needed that first week. He did all right. You know, let's see what happens.
It's just a fun prank.
Not that you get reeled back in, but you know, you get enamored and you kind of hope. And like Brian said, I think the worst thing, and I want wins, but the worst thing is probably to win 7 games, not make the playoffs. And I want wins.
Oh no,
that's I can't root against wins, but that would probably be the worst thing, is to win 7 games and be middle of the pack. And now you got to move up to get the guy you want.
Yep.
7 wins, freaking purgatory. I cannot do 7 wins.
You know what though? If Daniel Jones goes out there and he figures it out, and they go 12-5, 13-4, whatever, it's 11. Hold on. They make the playoffs. They win a playoff game. They lose in a divisional round. It's a close game, whatever. There's no way Craig's not going to be on the bandwagon. Let's go. Come on, Daniel Jones.
Craig.
I'll be on it.
I want him to do well, but he never comes through. He lets me down. And then I stick up for him, and he lets me down. I just want to win 8 games, and then they can get rid of them. And then next year we start off with a veteran receiver, a veteran QB after they draft their quarterback. And the vet QB grooms this guy. We can't win with Jones because he's already terminated 3 coaches. The guy's a coach killer, man. The guy's a coach killer. So win me 8 games, Daniel Jones.
Or was it Joe Judge and Pat Shurmur that were his coaches, and so maybe they were just bad coaches too?
Maybe. I think Shurmur's a great offensive
and a combination of both. Yeah, not a great head coach though.
No. But if I, and again, David, the play calling was not horrendous. Don't buy into what you see on Twitter. It wasn't great. I said it, I'll say it again. That we didn't impose our will on anybody, and we left way too much on the table. And the number one dig that I have on Dave's is you just blew smoke up my butt for the last 8 weeks on how you were going to go vertical, and we didn't throw one pass over 20 yards.
The frustrating part. Yeah.
Like that's the frustrating part. But the play calling wasn't horrendous. Why? Because you can go back and watch the film, and there are 10 throws that are directly aimed at 10 throws. 7 are on Jones, and 3 are complete drops in their hands. I will go on record. I will say it 1,000 freaking times. Isaiah Hodgins makes the catch that Jalen Hyatt drops. Why isn't Jalen Hyatt playing? Do you know, if you know anything about Division I sports? Division I sports is all about practice. If you play well in practice, you play in the game. When you're a player, your practice time is your game. And when you prove yourself in practice, you play in the game. Why do you think he's not on the field? Because he doesn't show them during practice what they want. This isn't like you guys make it out like it's some conspiracy theory. Like, oh, they're going to ruin Hyatt's best years. Hyatt's not doing enough to get on the field. And when they do throw him the rock, he drops it. I mean, it's simple. You guys create stuff in your head, not you 3 guys. Well, I'm saying the rest of you folks, you make conspiracies up in your head because you don't like what it is. Jalen Hyatt's a good player. He may get nervous. I don't know what it is, okay? But if the guy was crushing it in practice, you just play because they're like, man, we can't keep this guy off the field because he makes plays. Well, I'm going to guarantee you that Hodgins is going to start getting more reps. And if you threw that ball at Hodgins, and I know you guys don't love Hodgins, but he carried you to the playoffs in 2022. You throw that ball to Hodgins, that skinny post or whatever that was, that seam route, he just makes the catch, man.
Does Hodgins the ball hits you, carry Slayton's spot this week? Who takes Slayton's spot if he doesn't clear concussion protocol?
I don't know. Well, and they got,
I would think it's Hyatt.
Yeah.
And Bryce Ford Wheaton is on the team playing special teams. He had a good day playing special teams too. He'll probably get some reps too. Bryce Ford Wheaton. But I'm just making a point that what's Cold yapping about here? I got to see what Cold's yapping about. You know him. He's always yapping about something crazy. What the hell? I haven't made it one damn conspiracy on this team. Don't put me in that category. No, Cold, you are exclusively in your own box. Yeah, man, like it is what it is. If guys don't play, it's because they're not doing what they need to do. That's it. So like, hey, like, and like, look, we all thought Tracy was going to be great. He may still may be great. He earned his job on the field. They throw him the ball, not a great pass. He drops the ball. I mean, I just
1 week.
Yeah. So next week they're gonna get back at it. But like I'm this guy. I'm so tired of having crappy Sundays. I want to win 8 games with a different quarterback. And then I want them to go out and draft their guy. And whoever the quarterback is for the second half of the season grooms the guy they bring in.
You're gonna have to give up your draft capital after that. But
I don't care. But I don't care anymore.
Well, if you win 8 games, you're not going to be in the first top 3 or 4 picks to grab the quarterback you may want.
I know, and I don't.
If you want the quarterback bad enough, just get him. Who cares? If you can get quarterback, just give up what you got to get to give him. That's your guy.
What's the statement, right? About what's the definition of insane? What do they say that definition is?
Repetition of doing something the same time over and over again with the same result.
That's all we do. That's all we do, dude. Like, we do the same thing. It's like, hey, that's glass. Don't touch it. Ow. That's fire. Don't put your hand in it. Ow. Like, it's all we do is the same thing. So who freaking cares? Just do something different. Make a statement. How about this? Go for it. Like, people want to know why you got Burns and they're complaining about the draft capital. Wah. It was the first time we saw Shane have some balls and give Bowen a guy. That was a ballsy move. So, like, I'm just like, go get your guy. Like, and I don't care if it's, I mean, I think Locke sucks. I know Locke sucks, but that's fine. Let Locke play. I don't care anymore. Let Locke play. Let him throw the ball around the place. Bring in Jameis Winston. Let Jameis Winston throw. I don't know. Alex, how many interceptions can Jameis throw in a couple weeks?
He'll throw like 15, probably. But like, there'd be some like Jameis Winston will at least you'll have like 5 plays a game. And you're like, hell yeah. Like, that's what I like about Jameis Winston. And just give me somebody that I'm excited to watch play on Sundays.
Yeah, dude, Malik Neighbors would be like this. That
since Eli.
I wouldn't be against Jameis Winston.
I give up a 4th round pick for him.
I wouldn't be against that at all.
Colt says he threw 50 in one season. Is that a joke? Did he really throw 50 picks in a season?
I think he did. I think he did.
With the Saints?
I think it was his last year with the Bucks because he threw he had like crazy stats, but it was like also he had a million.
Yeah, he had like almost 40 touchdowns and
yeah, even the 40 and 50 club.
Yeah, something like that, right?
I just want to change. I want to, like I said, I don't want Neighbors not to want to be here. I don't want, guys to just like be like they don't want to play for the Giants. Like, I do think people like Dabes. I think they do want to play for him, but like we've already done the Shermer, the Judge thing. Like, I'm fine with giving. Like, again, I don't think getting rid of Dabes guarantees you the next guy's not a chump. I don't think Dabes and Shane are chumps, and I do think the next guy could be a chump. So I'm fine with the coaches, but they just got to go do some really drastic moves. Drastic freaking moves. You know what I mean? Like, should they have signed Barkley? Probably not, because you don't have the offensive line to show what he can do. He goes to a great team with an offensive line. He looks like a rock star, right? What they need is a receiver and a quarterback. We got the receiver. Go get the quarterback. And I just don't know if there's anybody really out there, dude. Like, I love Dart. I don't know if he's the guy. I know guys like Beck and what do you call it? Alex mentioned him before.
Cam Ward and Quinn Ewers.
Like, I don't love any of them. I like Dart. I like the Dart better than all 3 of those guys, but they're not, they're not, you're not looking at Stroud and going, whoa. You know what I mean? So I just have a veterans come in and calm the presence down. Look, Malik Neighbors wants to get paid. He's going to get paid by scoring a lot of points and cutting touchdowns. We got nobody to throw him the fucking ball. Let's bring in a guy like Winston, Russell, whoever it is, Tannehill. I don't care. Like, we shouldn't care. We just want a guy that can throw the ball and not have any bag. Chris, what's the number one thing wrong with Jones? You said it twice today.
I think my opinion, it's the processing.
damage,
Oh,
right?
Oh, up here. Yeah. I it's confidence. Confidence is shot. I really believe that.
Done. He's David Carr, people.
Chuck Knobloch, Steve Sachs. I don't know. I just feel like it's what's in his head, man.
Yeah.
Rick Ankiel.
Yeah. Who's the catcher, Brian? Was that Mackie Sasser? Couldn't throw it back to the pitcher?
Yep, Mackie Sasser. Yes, it was. Yes,
That's Jones right now, dude. He thinks too much. He processes too slow. He holds the ball too long. Like the mist is cleared. The offensive line is dramatically better. We were 32. This could be something like maybe the 22nd ranked offensive line. It can move up 10 spaces. Right? We could have an offensive rookie of the year. We need a guy to throw the ball.
We need Malik to score a touchdown too, because I don't want to do the Kenny Golladay thing where we have this cool receiver and then he doesn't ever find the end zone, and then they put out graphics that are this many games he's played in the NFL without doing. Like, that's gonna happen if we just throw them all at him at the end zone. Like, we gotta give him a touchdown this week. Get that out of the way.
I foresee him being miserable if this Giant team is inept. I mean, I just foresee him being like, "Get me out of here as soon as humanly possible." You know.
Well, I agree with that because I don't think he wanted to be here to start.
Okay.
And then I think he got here, and the Giant way overwhelms you. The building, the New York skyline. You know what I mean? I think when he got here, he was like, "All right, I could do this."
Everything but the quarterback.
Yeah, but I bet in practice
he grew on him.
Look, we saw what they did in practice. They look like two peas in a pod. They were like boom, 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 boom. What did he go against the Lions? 16 for 17.
He did well. Yeah.
16 for 17. Again, I know. Preseason, I know. But I'm just saying that we need a guy that just wants to throw the ball, and Malik Neighbors will be happy. If they don't, like tomorrow, I'm putting in the Odell quick slant tomorrow if they haven't put it in already.
I'm sick of hearing in camp and when camp opens and training. Oh, he's so good. Oh my God, what a talent. Oh, did you hear the pass that Jones threw to Neighbors? Oh my God. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, week one, we get blown out 28-6. Like, I'm sick of hearing all the training camp garbage that comes out of training camp that people have to write about because there's really nothing to write about.
Talking about practice.
Oh, I'm right. Exactly.
Not a game.
I shook my head this year. This year was like my first year where I was like, I was walking the hallways of the fan. Oh, did you see the throw from Jones to Neighbors? I'm like, no. And I don't care either. Like, show me on the field when week one happens. Like, I don't want to hear this crap anymore about it. How great everybody. Remember last year, Jalen Hyatt. Oh, my God. Oh, he's going to be a threat in the red zone, the fade route. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And,
we're tired of it. Yeah.
So sick of hearing all that crap.
I'm getting sick and tired of being told to stand up on third down, which I usually do. Do something, I'll stand up.
It's third down.
Do something, then I'll stand up. Every time I stand up, it's a first down.
Otherwise, I'll be sitting right here in my feet.
I'll stand up.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And like you said, Chris, next week, 10 deep shots. Just throw the ball at Malik.
I don't know about 10, but give me at least
all deep shots. Only
just deep balls.
Nothing but deep shots.
It's a 50-50, right? You're going to get a flag at one of them.
I'll make
Joe Flacco made a career on that.
Yeah. Yes.
You'll get a call.
It made Odell's career on it, dude. Throw the ball 10 times. You get 3 pass interference calls. He catches 4, and the other 3 are picks.
That's it. Neighbors falls down. Neighbors fall down. He looks around for the flag, puts his hand up. They're going to throw a couple his way.
So if you're telling me he threw 10 deep balls, 4 of them he caught.
Oh, yeah.
You got 3 pass interferences and 2 picks. I'm taking it right
2
now.
2 go in the stands. 3 he get calls, and the other 4 he'll maybe a catch there.
Maybe we need him to get arrested on the way to the stadium, like Tyreek Hill did.
It's so miserable with talking like this. Yeah. I mean, this is just
It's week 2 we're going into.
I mean, I know this is funny. It's good, but I can't believe we're talking like this.
Brian, that's because we're all punch drunk from yesterday. We're all delusions right now.
Oh, I'm actually drunk.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up with this. I think that definitely we have a weakness at cornerback, and these guys totally just dropped the ball with the whole flop thing. That's definitely a sore spot, right? I mean, I'm glad Dory's back, but I don't know how much is left there in the tank. The corners are definitely an issue. Jones, we're gonna see. We'll run it with Jameis Winston, Spaghetti, Drew Lock, doesn't matter, but they are playing the Washington Commanders, who they do own, right? Now Jaden Daniels doesn't know that. So, like, but they're going to watch a lot of tape. So it'll be an interesting game on Wednesday. That's the debate. Chris, are you guys doing a preview show on Wednesday?
Yeah, actually, the debate, I believe, is tomorrow night, and our show's at 7. So
7 o'clock tomorrow. The boys are going to be doing Rush Hour.
No. Wednesday. The debate is tomorrow. Wednesday is the show.
All right. Sorry. Let me take that back.
I would watch that over the debate instead. I just want you to know.
Love that.
I'd rather watch.
They're both painful, Alex. They're both painful. So
yeah,
pick a poison.
Yeah, the Commanders preview show, the Rush Hour.
Care less about the debate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna turn it on.
Well, that's tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Wednesday, Chris and the Truth are going to be rolling out your preview show with all your stats on what happens when the Redskins the Commanders take the field.
Our words. We don't say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Otherwise, that's Brian Rascona. Make sure you check him out on the Fan.
Thanks,
Brian, you give these guys a shout. Where what are your duties this week for the Fan?
So right now, I'm not on air as far as I know, unless I receive a text. But I'm not on air right now. Just producing Boomer and Valenti on Friday. We record on Friday. We air at 8:30 a.m. on WFAN. You could get it at 6 o'clock on Friday on the free Odyssey app. So Boomer and Valenti, kickoff of Boomer and Valenti, week 2 of 2024. I'll be producing that. We record on Friday. So.
And by the way, make sure you follow B. He's a good dude. I've gotten him friendly with him and his little man. And look, we love Brian. We're gonna have him on more often throughout the season. Beside him dropping the liquor, he's good for everything else. He's a good friend. And of course, Alex is back. Nails. Guys, I want to say, like, don't freak out, but it's cool that you're freaking out, but you definitely don't need to hang around and yell stuff at Jones while he's leaving the stadium. I'm not sure that makes us look like a classy organization. I know nobody wants to hear that either, but don't chase clout. It's stupid, right? Just, it sucks. Take it on the chin. We all take sports serious, but whatever. Let it go, man. Be a good human. We'll see you guys next week. And we will be back. Don't forget to check out the store, because I always got some good swag in there for you folks. And all the teams getting new shirts. They're in the mail tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Peace. How about